And I'm back to preaching and pastoring like I usually do. Hey, good morning, everybody. I hope you're having a great start to your day. It is Wednesday, August the 5th. Can you believe it? It just doesn't seem possible. Just a few months ago, God was showing us the direction to go, and we were packing stuff, and now we're fully in our house and kind of getting acclimated there. I'm feeling like I finally got my groove at the church, so to speak, with everything and everybody, and looking forward to just moving in that vein, that direction that God's taken both my life, my family, and our church. Grateful for the leadership of Full Gospel Assembly of God and here in Lawrenceburg, Kentucky, and grateful for the people that call our church home. It's um, it's just a blessing. I'm so grateful that there are good churches out there, and there's good pastors out there everywhere. And Sean, we were praying for you over the weekend, and that was my son texting me. I forgot to turn my volume down. So glad that things are okay with your house. Sorry to hear about your grandma. But my friend, I'll tell you, I've been present when four people have passed away at that moment. And precious in the eyes of the Lord is the death of his saints. And oh my goodness, oh my goodness, um, how God works that out. There's something, if you want to, for the people who don't believe in God, I'll tell you, to be there in that moment when a saint passes, um, it's just incredible, 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 incredible. All right, let's talk about some interesting news. I mentioned earlier, since Saturday, my throat has been strained, my voice has been strained. I've had the issues with my singing voice since the surgeries, and in talking to a doctor about it, there's a chance I'll be going to an ENT sometime, um, just because there's other things going on. I'm not going to talk about that now, but. Um, I got preacher's voice. I went from a first tenor my freshman year to second tenor my sophomore to baritone. I'm probably a third baritone. I'm not a bass by any chance. But I've just noticed that had um, I just noticed my voice changing since the surgeries though 2 years ago. I just can't sing like I want to or like it to or like I used to. And I realize things get older and things don't work as effectively. I get that. I appreciate those of you that are praying about my voice. All right, and the Sun UK had this article, and it's not funny, but it is. And those of you that know my sense of humor, listen to this: Grim Reaper arrested for climbing on the hospital roof and staring at patients. I kid you not. Matter of fact, there's a picture of the Grim Reaper right there. You can see him. That's from the UK Sun. Yeah, he's just so. I'm sure this 26-year-old guy thought, I'll just have some fun. But when you're the one going into the hospital and you look up there and you see the Grim Reaper, it's like, I don't know if I want to go there. So anyway, it's just kind of, you know, I'm going to laugh about it because it's funny. I would have done that if I was 15 years old before I got saved, and I would have put up with all the chaos from people. But okay, let's talk about something with a little bit more air in it, okay? Speaking of air, helium. Washington Times: America cannot lose the helium race. It's not just a commercial issue, it's a matter of national resilience. Helium is generally thought of as a novelty that makes your voice squeak when you inhale it. The second most abundant element after hydrogen, helium, is essential to semiconductor manufacturing, magnetic resonance imaging, fiber optic production, aerospace launches, missile systems, superconducting defense technologies, nuclear detection equipment, and the cooling systems that power advanced computing and artificial intelligence data centers. Unlike oil, natural gas, rubber, and other must have components of America's industrial supply chain, helium cannot be synthetically manufactured. Without a reliable access to the element and a secure domestic reserve, America may be pushed to the sidelines in the race for global economic, technological, and military supremacy. If you want to know why, There are some people adamant that we get to the moon really, really quick. It's because there seems to be, according to the science world, which I'm having trouble believing. But anyway, I do believe there's probably helium on the moon, and they got to access it. So, but just think about that, folks. And I'm sure you didn't think you didn't wake up. Nobody had a dream about the helium supply. I never have. But I just think it's interesting that they're saying, look, you better be thinking about helium. Front Page Magazine also had another article that's really, it's worth your time. And listen to the headline: "Awakening Gaze to the Horror of Islam." You know, a lot of people in the LGBTQ world right now are getting all behind free Palestine and let's stand with the Islamic people and the democratic socialists, and they don't realize that in Islam, that type of lifestyle will get you killed. They're throwing people off of roofs and slaughtering them, beheading them, killing them outright all over the world in Muslim nations. And yet the enemy has deceived them even more, not just because of the lifestyle choices, but now he's deceived them to the place that they think if they support Islamists and Muslims, that somehow, some way, they're going to overlook that lifestyle. And they're not. They're not. And so the article basically is saying we need to pray that the people in that community wake up, not just to their sin, but to that. And so I'm going to add that when I pray for friends and family, people that I know that live in those alternative lifestyles. Um, I'm going to, I will pray that God helps them to see that as well. And who knows, them understanding that their perception changing may allow them to see that God doesn't hate those people in that lifestyle. God doesn't hate you and your sin. But I just pray that we can see a major revival among the gay and lesbian communities around us, and that we as a church can make a difference. I will be going to a conference here, uh, not next week, but the week after that, that our district is putting on with a missionary named Linda. And Linda lived in that lifestyle for a while. She thought she was a man, and she became a missionary on a college campus. Has written a book, got a doctoral degree, and doing research on how to reach family members that are in that lifestyle. And so just be aware that there's a whole lot of look. There's a lot of people that we need to love and care about deeply, and there's a whole lot of opportunities for us to be the church and to be Jesus. I still believe that in the early 1980s, when the AIDS crisis struck, if the church had shown a little bit more compassion, and if the church had not preached, it wasn't just hellfire and brimstone, but we have to have compassion on anybody. You know, Daryl, I agree with you. I'm starting to have my questions too. But anyway, it's interesting to know. We just need to pray for those in that community. And don't stop praying. A lot of your prodigals are living those lifestyles. Don't stop praying, okay? One more good headline today. Um, Zero Hedge article: Florida's ban on children attending drag shows is constitutional. One court said, you can't say kids can't go to that. Well, I'm glad this court finally woke up and said, hey, no, we're not doing that. A lot of these appeals courts are nothing but liberal diatribe driven um, knuckleheads. And that's where we are in our world today. But I'll tell you, folks, don't stop praying. Just because you don't see the things that you're praying for happen, I'm going to keep praying that God wakes up the justice system. I'm going to pray that God keeps lighting a fire under Congress and the Senate and the Supreme Court. I'm going to pray that God continues to move in the lives of people who are just still trying to figure it all out. You know, we can't stop doing all that we can do for them. All right, let's get to the word today. Many of you have noticed I've been extremely tired, and I have been. I've gotten probably just yesterday. I got about seven or eight emails. Hey, Pastor, you look really tired. I am. I am. The last couple of weeks, I've not slept well. Um, that has shifted from last night, and not because of medicine, but just because there's a whole lot of things going on with me, and I've got that, once awake syndrome. And once I'm up last night, I will get my new pump on the first week of October. So I've been approved for it. Insurance is working with that right now. Shouldn't be any copay on that at all. These insulin pumps are about a $10,000 to $12,000 item, and then you end up spending, my out of pocket typically is about $3,500 every year for the pump supplies that go with it. But I'm just grateful that this technology is out there. It makes my life a whole lot better. Um, but I get the new pump in October. I've been approved, and if mine and the calibration suddenly locks up and it just stops doing what it's supposed to do, I can get a loaner until I get there. They've recalibrated my pump twice now. It's working great. It was waking me up 3 and 4 times a night. That has not happened. Uh, and for 2 nights in a row now, and I know some of you have been praying. For 2 nights in a row, I have not had to get up and drink some juice or something, um, which may not sound like that big of a deal, but when you're getting up 3 and 4 times a night, it's just part of it. So I'm just grateful for the prayers. Let's get to the word today. And I've already got tomorrow's recorded and all the other ones for next week. And I don't think nobody told me they had any issues finding it last Thursday. So I'm going to hope that all the issues and problems have been taken care of. Um, with that. Okay, here we go. Second Chronicles chapter 8, verse 16. One small verse, but boy, is there a lot of stuff in here. Um, a lot of times in Bible study, we'll either read through something so quickly and will not get it. And I really, really like to um, take my time. And sometimes I'll read the same 5 chapters 2 or 3 times a day because I want to get that information in me. But nonetheless, verse 16, it says, "This was accomplished, thus was accomplished all the work of Solomon from the day the foundation of the house of the Lord was laid until it was finished." So the house of the Lord was completed. Now, I'm not going to utilize bad exegesis here. I see this as a part of the church. I see this as a part of our lives. From the moment you laid the foundation until it's finished. Um, years ago, years ago, a neighbor, a couple, half a mile from us, was going to start building a house, and he was a long haul truck driver, and he wanted to do some of that work himself. So Saturdays and Sundays, he was up from 5 a.m. in the morning till midnight, and then up the same thing. And then Monday morning, he was out the door, and he drove cross country. Um, But he had a cement truck come in one Saturday, paid extra for a Saturday draw, and got the foundation laid. And I remember me and my brother would ride our bikes, and I was probably 8 or 9. Wasn't even 10 yet. But I'll tell you, um, it was neat to go down there on Saturdays and just watch him because he was one of these guys who was always working, always moving. And he was pouring the cement, and he was out there by himself doing everything with the house, the foundation. I didn't have people come in and help him. Wasn't paying help. He was building his house by himself. And he told us up front, hey, Mr. Johnson, when are you going to be done with this? And he said, well, boys, it's going to take me a lot longer than usual. He said, most people could build a whole house in 4 or 5 weeks, maybe 2 or 3 months. He said, but since I only got weekends, I just got to do as much as I can. And so he would just work like a dog, and we would see on like the school bus driving by on during the weekdays, you could see, and things would sit. But it got to a place where all of us kids on the bus were like, hey, I think he did this week. And so we got to see the foundation, we got to see all the dirt work and the big earth moving equipment out there, and then we got to see it being leveled, and then we got to see the boards going up for framing, and then we got to see some of the pipe up there, and then we got to see the cement. And I remember it took 2 school years for that man to get his house built. And then when his house was built, he retired. And suddenly he wasn't gone as much. And it seemed like in 1 week, an entire vegetable garden was planted. And then you're driving your bike to school back and forth, or in town or whatever, to baseball games, and you'd see, oh, hey, he's got planted flowers, and then all of a sudden there's trees there. He did a whole lot more work in the time he was there than when he wasn't able to be there. He was doing himself. And it was just neat to see over a couple years, because even as kids, you're like, when are they going to get that house done? I just can't believe it's taking this long. It was like, I'm wanting to say between fourth grade and by the time I got to sixth grade, the house was done. And then I watched over the next 10 years or so. He took very good care of his property, very good care. He was just a meticulous. He was a perfectionist, but it took some time to do that. And and what we got to understand is this verse basically, he says, Solomon, from the moment they laid the foundation until the time they finished, he was on it. He was on it. He wanted to make sure it was finished right and done right. And I'll tell you what, um, you got to take your time when it comes to building your house, and you want to make sure the foundation's solid. And because if your foundation's shoddy, or slippery sloped, or not level, when you go to try to frame that thing, you're not gonna be able to frame. You're gonna have to tear everything up, or whatever you're gonna have to do to do it. But you need to know. You need to know that you need to keep working on your house. You need to keep working on the walls. You need to keep adding rooms as you can. You need to keep expanding as you feel led to, and learning. Second Chronicles chapter 8 and verse 16. Uh, there, Sherry, as you were asking. Second Chronicles 8 verse 16, just the one verse today. So where we are in life is where you are at the moment. Um, I don't know how many other people are 57 like I am, but I'm already thinking, man, we're already halfway through the year, and next February the 11th, I'm going to be 58 years old, and I remember when I turned 11 on February 11th, thinking, oh yeah, that's just fantastic, because nobody can ever be, the same age as your birthday after 31. And that's only if you're born in a month with 31 days. But man, you know, yeah, and Diane, yes, I catch that. I do not do tools well, but nonetheless, um, my wife knows better than to turn me loose. I had a chance one time when I was on the city council, just for fun. One of the guys said, "Hey, you want to handle a jackhammer?" And I thought, yeah. And it wasn't because it was a jackhammer and made a lot of noise and was hydraulic, but I wanted to do, because you can tear stuff up with a jackhammer. You can tear it up. And so I think I spent about 3 minutes doing that. And then after about 3 minutes, my arms and my shoulders felt like jelly. And I'm like, I need to turn this thing off. And then I realized I didn't know how to turn it off. And somebody, hey, somebody needs it. Yeah, so there I was, probably my mid 20s, and looking rather foolish at that moment. But you got to know, look, God's given some tools. He's put them in your hands, so use them. Use them. Take the time. Take the time that you have, and keep working on the house. Keep working in on the house. Keep making sure, you got to keep your yard mowed. You got to keep things up. You got to keep checking things in your house. You want to make sure you maintain. We're trying to make sure we can deal with, insect invasion, and getting things sprayed, and making sure that the garage door is working right, and just making sure if there's any. And when we got here, it was like, okay, do I need to make a list of what we need to look at, work on? I knew right up front, wanted to wanted to extend the deck, get rid of that pool. I've done those things. I'm grateful for that. But you have to, you have to make sure you're always working on your spiritual house. You have to make sure you're paying attention to it. you know so the house of the Lord was completed, and there's a responsibility and a job that God's given you, that he wants you to complete, he wants you to fulfill. And as we read the Bible, everybody who's written about in the Bible, they went beyond this earth long, long, long ago, and they were just like you. They were struggling. They were they had their own things going with their family, you know. So make sure you're taking care of things physically, mentally, and emotionally. Okay, it's important. It really, really is. Father, I'm asking you today to help everyone on here that's listening right now physically. Physically, Lord, bring healing. Physically, Lord, bring hope. Physically, Lord, bring peace. I'm asking that you would strengthen the bones, strengthen the muscles, the ligaments, the tendons, the cartilage, strengthen all those parts of us that gets worn out over time. And Lord, for the ones on here that are just a little bit older and are still and are starting to now find out not just the consequences. Lord, my knees and my hips and my feet, because all the running that I did when I was younger and a kid, it catches up. But Lord, at the same time, all the reading I did, all the degrees I worked on, all the academic stuff I was involved with, it's still playing a part in my life today. So keep our brains sharp, keep our thoughts sharp, keep our hands ever busy for you. As Lord, your hand, your word says, whatever your hand finds to do, do it all for the glory of God. So even the way we take care of our gardens, maintain our cars, take care of our homes, the way that we live, the way that we drive, everything, Lord, has an opportunity to glorify you. So let your will be done. Let your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. God, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us the wisdom that we need. Give us the wisdom that we need and help us to see who you are, who you are, who you are in a deeper fashion. I'm thankful I got to watch that one guy build his house over several years. And I'm thankful for the consistency he had when he was home to work on that building. May we be faithful every single day to pay attention to the details, to take every thought captive, to walk in a way that glorifies you, to find our calling, to walk in it, to accomplish it, to fulfill it, Lord. May your hand be upon us every step of the way. And we pray it in Jesus' name. Amen and amen. Hey, folks, I did have, now remember, tomorrow's recording. No From the Perch today. I'll get back on that next week. Schedule wise, today just was not able to pull that off. And I don't want to keep changing it from day to day. I want to be very consistent. If you know me, I like consistency. But I did want to say this. I've had a lot of, look, since the first dream went viral, I've typically there's about 3 to 5 thousand friend requests on Facebook, and I don't even look at those friend requests. I just don't have time to do that every day. However, if you're on here and you want to be a friend to me on Facebook, what I need you to do is I can't search through. I think I looked a couple days ago and there's 2,600 friend requests. Okay, I don't have an hour to sit down and just go through friend requests. But if you want to be a friend of mine on Facebook, the best thing you can do is send an email to realdanacoverstone@gmail.com and just tell me your name and show me a picture of what your profile picture is. I will do a search for you and send you a friend request. That is the easiest way that I can do that. And it's not because I'm lazy. I don't want to look for it. I don't have the time. And it's just there's so many friend requests that come in or people say, hey, I want to find. So just send me an email to real Dana Coverstone at gmail.com. If you know my number, I don't give my number out to just everybody because um, it got it. I think you understand why. If you know my number and hey, send me a message. Oh, it's come, I got your number and I'm not a friend on Facebook. Because there's too many people to look through. That's why. And so hopefully and prayerfully you will understand, on that today. But if you can just send that to me, I'll take care of it. Um, and the minute I look at it, I'll go on there and look and find your name and send a friend request that you can accept, and then you're in. I do not post as much stuff as I used to. Um, Number one, during the time that we were moving and back and forth, somebody said, Pastor, Dan, you're just not posting as much stuff as you used to. It's because I'm moving. It's just that's the reality of it. So nonetheless, you know, So let's just keep doing, what you can. Yeah, real Dana Coverstone at gmail.com, and send me your name, and if you can send just a picture of what your profile picture looks like, because I people send me a name, and then there's like 3,200 of that name on there. I'm pretty sure there's only one Dana Coverstone in the world, and I've got my personal page. I got my ministry page. Nowhere else. There's nothing else out there. And those of you that find the new, it seems like every week there's a new fake page. Let me know. Send me links and stuff, and report those. Report those when you see them. Facebook is getting better about that. But I was looking the other day, just in some of my notes on my phone. Uh, in the last 7 years, there's been 112 different fake accounts put out there in my name, and so you know, but I love to teach, I love to preach, I love to share, I love to talk. I love to laugh, and I'm glad I got a great group of friends on here that I can laugh with. And you're welcome to laugh at me anytime you want, because life is funny. And I want to go out. Some people that they say, I think Toby Mac wrote that song, "Going to Go Down Swinging." I want to go down laughing. That's what I want to do. Folks, have a great rest of the day. See you live on Friday. I'm recording tomorrow. And love and appreciate all of you more than you'll ever know. Hey, God bless and have a great day. Okay, bye.